Morning, it's Xavier. Welcome to my bonsai for breakfast. And you know what? We're not going to have breakfast here. Well, we might have a bit later on, a bit of brunch. But we're going to start our breakfast off somewhere entirely different. So rather than admiring the maples over my shoulder, let's go and have a look at some real trees, shall we? Hiya, it's Xavier. Welcome to my bonsai retreat. And guess what? Alex Braunton isn't home, so we're going to nip in there and have a look at all his prized bonsais. And maybe I might even find a few, if you know what I mean. So, do you know what? At Bonsai for Breakfast, I'm going to give you the code, because I don't know about you, I like a lot of what's in his garden. But can you see what I'm doing? Has it worked? We're in. Now, this is going to be a bit of a treat because, well, actually, if you go and have a look at those videos there, you'll know there's two uproariously funny videos I did last year with Alex where, well, honestly, the last thing we spoke about really was serious bonsai. Seriously, I didn't come over here for the bonsai. That's the last thing on my mind. What I really wanted was to have a bit of a bounce in here because everyone loves a bouncy castle. Shall we get in? Maybe not, actually. You know the old knees. Don't think they'll take it, and I really don't think this is going to take this. Now I'm here because Alex is on holiday, as you've probably guessed, and he wants me to water his trees, which is pretty remarkable because if I water his, I normally forget to do mine. Do you want to know where the key is? Well, you're already in. It's down there. He's got loads of really good pots in there. I'm sure he won't notice if maybe one or two went missing. I could always say they got nicked or broken by possums. Now seriously, the reason why I've actually brought you around, apart from to have a look at his trees, is to really show you what the difference is between fertilised trees and non-fertilised. So first of all, shall we scoot back to my place and show you what sort of results I get? I mean, truthfully, I'm absolutely ecstatic with the development I've had, with the growth I've got from the maples. There's roots coming in the bottom of these pond baskets. In fact, the weeds actually are probably doing better than the maples themselves. But you know, this is good growth for me, especially as I originally had these in little pots. So you know, I'm not unhappy, but there are limitations. No matter how much I go on about it, I don't have a regular fertilising regime.
How many kids do we have?
And this is what you get if you don't. I'll do a bone meal somewhere in the autumn, and in the soil itself it's got slow release fertilisers. And yeah, good growth. But it's not what I really want, and I know that a lot of you out there have great regimes and get twice the results that I do. So yeah, I think we'll skip back to Alex to show why I sometimes get a little bit green with envy. Now, I'm pretty proud of that for results, and you know, it's got better each year, especially as I've got soil better. And in fact, well, no, I don't want to embarrass myself, but Alex has got a greenhouse here, little cold frame, and there's stuff growing out from everywhere, and that stuff's bigger than what's in my garden. But do you want to just have a little scan around, and I'll show you exactly what happens if you do a good, strong bonsai fertilising regime. They look like this. I mean, there is so much growth on the maples here, and the actual soil that he uses, it's the same sort of bonsai mix that I might do, but the growth that he's getting off these, and that's because he's a tea bagger. Can I say that? I think I can. Lots of tea bags, although I can't see them on here. In fact, they're all around the grass. And he really does follow his fertilising regime. So if you want to have this sort of growth, then fertilise your trees. Otherwise, follow my example. At least with my example, it's much easier to do the pruning. And that's another thing about Alex, which you wouldn't have known yet. I mean, he's got some incredible black pines. He's got the aircraft as well, just like I have. And every year I come here, look at this, incredible. I look at it and say, Alex, when are you going to prune it to some sort of branching? And he's like, yeah, I'm going to do that. I've got plans for that. We've got this Ituagawa juniper and loads and loads of growth. And I thought, do you know what, Alex, are you going to air layer those? No, I've really got to get on top of this, don't I?
Sounds like somebody's jealous.
But you know what? Just between you and me, come here. I think he needs to do some pruning, just every now and then. I mean, he has so many maples, and all of them, loads and loads of really healthy growth. And I'd die to have some of these in my collection, I really would. Does anyone want to write in the comments what one of the biggest problems is with not doing pruning on your pre-bonsai or bonsai? Seriously though, he's got some good stuff here. Let me just finish watering this. Now Alex has also got this great big 6-foot dawn redwood. It's really big and thick, and I did ask him when's he going to bonsai, and he said it is. Might be bigger than 6 foot actually. We've also got this great big hawthorn here. I think this is in his I definitely don't prune area of the garden rather than his I just don't prune area of the garden. You're getting the message I'm trying to put across here, and hopefully Alex is watching.
That's not funny.
I'm watering his trees much better than I do here, my own. Just such incredible growth on this redwood. Come off in my hand, Chief. Well, I've managed to fix the hose head. He didn't tell me that would just drop off, but while I sort through his children's shells, I thought I'd show you that Alex really is human. He makes mistakes just like me and just like you. This was the glorious white pine. Lovely growth, make an absolutely brilliant addition to the bonfire of Shane. Now Alex also likes his black pines. Now isn't this a good little example of it? Lovely, nice long needles. He's probably over fertilised and over watered to get that sort of needle growth. Not much hope for this even with sphagnum moss. So that's me finished watering his garden. I'm not going to give you a full pan round simply because, well, there's a lot of overgrown stuff, and I just don't think he's ready for you to see it. But if you want to see what it did look like when it was looking absolutely brilliant and spectacular, go back to those videos I mentioned, just up there. So from Alex's garden, I think we need to head back, and do you know what? Let's have a little play with my Jades or my Portucularis. I just need to lock up, and I'm desperate to find something. I'm sure he wouldn't notice if one of his maples went missing, would he? So here it is. This is the little Jade forest, or Portucularis forest, but do you know what? About the only thing you can see is the shadow of my head, Lexi's new white Ford car. So let's take this out, get it into the summer sunshine, and then I'll show you what I'm going to do with it. This has got to be an awful lot better than the moody lighting of inside. And yes, for those of you going, Zav, you've got your red tablecloth on. Inside joke, you need to go back and look at one of the last bonsai for breakfast to understand that one. But yep, the sun's coming through and it's going to cook my skin. So long sleeves all the way, and you can't beat a decent tablecloth, easy to wash. That's the sort of stuff I need. So here it is. This is my Jade, or maybe Portucularis. I'm sure there'll be some spotters out there who'll be able to tell me exactly which when I zoom in a bit. Got some giraffes and cheetahs or whatever. They've got spots. Cheetahs never spot? I don't know. Leopards maybe. Leopard never changes its spots, that's it. Some elephants, all in grand scale. And this has been growing very, very slowly. Planted up in a very nice Dawn Isaac pot, as are all my better trees. And I think this is an example of, do you know what? I see other people with their indoor stuff, especially their Jades, and they're getting massive, massive growth. Yours truly, weeny bits. And it sits on the front windowsill, and it's actually starting to put on just a little bit of extra growth now. So what should I be doing right now, you know, midsummer? Well, I'm glad you asked. Truthfully, all I really need to do is just have a look at these. Down here, little bud coming out. Ideally, I want something coming from here We've got buds here, but we need to clear it out and bring it down again so that I can get a lot more strength. I actually want to get a lot more canopy coverage somehow, and it's growing slowly. But the first thing we need to do is obviously remove our wee plastic animals, which are ever so much fun. I do love my leopards. I've got something down here growing nicely on its own. I don't actually want that growing much higher into this tree here, so I'm going to straight away cut that back to there. And I think we've got the same one here. I'm trying to cut that right back and try and get growth coming out this way. So that's those low ones. If we have a look here, we've got this one here. It's actually got another large branch there. So I'm actually going to remove that so that we can see this. We've got something growing behind it here. I actually want to shorten that. And again, I'm going to shorten off this one. I've got a few inward growing leaves. I just want to remove those. And yes, anyone who's had jade knows that you can just plant a leaf or pear straight down in the ground and it should root. I like the fact there's a little bud there that may come. I really want something there to come. So what I'm going to do is see if cutting it again can produce some sort of response from it. Doesn't always, but sometimes it may cause something to come from there. And here, I haven't really got any bifurcation coming, and that's what I really need. So, bearing in mind that I might get something from there, I'm actually going to cut it right back. Now, anyone who's watched my channel for any amount of time, first of all, well done you deserve a medal. You know what's going to happen here. We're going to be going, probably the closest I can compare to what's going to happen next is watch a few Nigel Saunders of the Bonsai Zone. Truly, he's been my inspiration for Jade, if I can put it that way, or Portucularis. You've got to cut back heavily. You've got to get that bifurcation if it's not happening already. Well, there you go, surprise, surprise. It's severely reduced, brought back. Again, I don't want long leggy growth. I need to try and bring it a lot closer in and try and get that bifurcation. And when they don't bifurcate, you cut them off. So this is what's happened. I've got the elephant out. He's on the attacking rampage on these leopards now, and the giraffe are a little bit shirty because I've cut off all the foliage they were going to eat. They'll be eating my tablecloth shirt next. So quick spin, and as I say, I think I'll keep this outside and see if the sun will do it a bit of good. But again, some general fertilizer on that will be fine, Miracle Grow or whatever. I'll just show you one that is actually performing a bit better than these. We've got these ones, and with these, I think you'll see them in a video last year, it might be up there. I decided I was going to take them out of their bonsai pots, put them into something deeper and let them try and grow and develop a little bit as thicker, bigger trees. And this was probably the first ever tree that I bought for Zita. She wants to have something to play with, so to speak. And this was it, and there's again an episode on there which you've just seen, which is all about how this one has gone a very long way to where it is right now. Both of these have had a bit of wire on, but these are going to be subject to a sort of a year in the life of program, which you may well see in the winter, probably early 2025. So if you want to make sure you don't miss that, hey, you know what you do, you hit the bell notifications, ding ding, and always we select the A for all, or is that A for apple? Anyway, let's get on and see something else that's a bit more interesting than the Portucularis. I'm sure many of you remember the episode I did on the olives, and these are developing a lot, and I asked for lots of advice about different ones and what I should do, and this was the one that caused me the biggest issue because of this big horrible branch that's coming out from underneath. And I think I said at the time, every part of me was screaming out I really ought to just remove it. But I wanted to see what the general consensus was, and there was a number of different views, you know, removing this all out and creating new stuff from here. But overall, deep down in places I don't talk about, there was only one solution, and I think there's a person in the comments who knows exactly what I'm going to do. Thank you very much for being in agreement with me and also pushing me to do it. I think it might even have been Joe, my friend from Nottingham, who's got a wonderful collection which you've seen quite a few times in the subscriber photograph. So I need to cut this, don't I? We've got growth here and that. I'm happy. I think we can develop something afresh. So should we go for it? Whoa, that's a big cut. Wow, that's gone. It could be that we lose some of these as well, actually, and just concentrate on the top. Right, I've got this great big horrible cavernous gap where I've ripped that great trunky bit out from, and everyone knows what I have to do. And at this point I'm going to say a big shout out to Adam of Notion Bonsai. He keeps sending me things through the post. I've had some of his yellow teeth dye that I use to get my teeth all yellow and to protect them from rotting. I think it works better on trees personally, but it smells a bit like eggs. But he also sent me something else from Sunny Island, and I didn't know what it could be. I was hoping it was going to be some more egg stain, although I've got a lot left. And got some Notion Bonsai stickers. I'll find somewhere to put those. Should we have a look and see what he sent me, because it does relate to this. Hey, from Adam, keep up your great videos. Thank you very much, Adam. And clearly I need to put some sealant on that, and funnily enough, as I pop my hand into the packet, how it came, well, I was a bit confused because it had my little my old man tree larch on there, and I thought, well, I didn't make this, so let's have a look. Nice cap, I like that. And I do believe we've got a bit of cut paste or putty, and I think he followed the design or the idea from Nature Guys, and it's all natural and good. Don't tell me you're not supposed to smell it. Anyway, I'm going to be putting that putty on there. So always good to moisten your fingers. Don't watch me do this. And see how good this putty works. It's certainly the right consistency. Now, I know, for those of you with a health and safety bias, it's not a good idea to stick things into your mouth like that. You never know where they've been, and there are a lot of the cut putties and pastes that actually are carcinogenic. So please don't do that. This applies really well. And actually really impressed with this. Adam, if you're selling it, I'll have a bigger bucket of it, I think, because I like the way that applies. And that's it. So, courtesy of Adam and Notion Bonsai, thanks very much, mate. That's all done for now, and we'll catch up on that probably sometime next year. So what to next in this glorious bonsai breakfast menu? I feel like something sweet. Can we have some nice dripping maple syrup all over some pancakes and bacon and eggs?
Pancake.
Well, I'll tell you what I will do. I'll show you something that left everyone with a bit of a foul tummy when I did it, and had something to do with an azalea that really didn't look so good. Again, regular viewers will know that this really nice Satsuki Azalea, which has been doing really well for a couple of years, but each year has flowered less and less. And when you last saw this, probably 5 or 6 weeks ago, all the leaves had pretty well crisped off, and I knew from observations on previous Satsukis that unfortunately died, that was where this was going. So I decided to go really brutal. I wanted to do some trunk chops on it anyway and bring back the growth, but I decided to go really hard and cut everything off. Now I know that definitely a few of you lost the contents of your breakfast from your stomach, and without being too sort of smug, is smug a good word? I like the word smug. Smug, is that smog? Smorg, that's from Lord of the Rings, isn't it? Or Battle of the Rings, something like that. I said we'll get some growth coming back. Well, guess what? I was right. Lots of little new buds coming all over these branches. We've got some lower down here, here and here, here, so all of that's covered. We look further up here, we've got lovely new branches coming up here, and what I love is it's so close to those existing junctions, we're going to get the bifurcation way back here rather than all the way up here. We've got little buds coming from here all over it. Look at this back one, lots of little opportunities there. Again, lots on the back here and lots up here. Loads and loads of buds here and here, so we're going to get lots of bifurcation coming. And overall, that is a happy ending. The reason why I kept these growing stalks on is because I just wanted to see how much. I mean, look, loads of micro buds, but all along here there's more buds here and here. So I'm going to get loads of growth from there. Is there a temptation to cut back and even do bud selection now? No, and there shouldn't be. They are very, very juvenile, and though I'm confident they'll continue to sprout out, there is no guarantee. So this is going back down to the bottom of the garden by the greenhouse where it pretty well stays in the shade, and I'll be looking at this again probably sometime in the autumn just to see what sort of shoots we have got from it and what the real future is for this Satsuki Azalea. But don't ever be afraid to cut these things back to bare wood. They actually do better for it. And for those of you who watched breakfast a couple of weeks ago, you'll know that I went out to the nuts on this Chinese Privet, and not often do I get surprised. People around me get surprised at me, but let's have a look close in and just see what the reaction of this tree has been to that brutal pruning. And in this case we are definitely talking weeks when I did this. We've got little bud points, all these is new growth, all this is new growth, loads of little buds all the way, all shooting out. Look how thick this has come. And you know, if you want to remind yourself, go back and have a look at the video that's up there. I really did cut this back hard. What I can see is areas where it hasn't. Here it hasn't. So let's not waste time on that. Let's get rid of that. You can see a few dead points where it hasn't. And let's remove them. But no, so look at it. Really thick and vibrant. And in fact, it's going to be a pruning nightmare very, very shortly. So yeah, again, another example. Don't be afraid to go hard. Certainly on these hedging style plants. Yeah, the more I see this, the more I'm convinced it's going to make a really decent bonsai. I now need to get a few ideas for what sort of pot I should put it in, because this is just one of those cheap Chinese import pots. Like that a lot. Might need to remove that crossing root there though. You know what? Let's do that now. That's better. Might well lose that one as well at some point, and this one up here. But like that a lot. So what else are we going to look for at Bonsai for breakfast? Well, you know what? I had someone asking about my my oak fusion, and I think we'll have a look at that because it raises an interesting thing about oak air layers as well. Now, this was something I did, I don't know whether I did it January or February this year, or actually the year before. And all I did is I took the bark off to the cambium on 3 sides of these little oak saplings, tied them together with some raffia and put them in the pot. In fact, it was in 22, I think. Oh no, it was early 23. That's a year ago.
Make up your mind.
I did have a look at these probably 3 months ago, and they're very loose. They're definitely not fused down there. Truthfully, I'm not sure what I'm going to be doing with these. I'll let them grow and see what happens. Maybe the roots will tangle together tightly over time and create a root infused fusion. But the point that it raises is that, bearing in mind that I keep saying I'm a little bit nervous about oak and how well they do air layers, and I know that comes up in quite a load of other bonsai forums, it makes sense that probably doing fusion with oak, it's not that it can't work, but possibly a lot more difficult. So the fusion didn't work. I'll keep them together, and as I say, hopefully over time the roots will either pull them together, keep them tight, or hey, maybe over time they will. But I've got a funny feeling if I actually had a little exploration down there, the fact that I can separate them with my fingers means that you probably find they've all calloused over. So we've still got 3 separate trees. Stop. I know there's 2 or 3 of you right now who are looking at your watches going, Zav, stop going on. We've had enough. We need to get to work. We need to get the kids off to school, all that sort of stuff. Or if you're on the other side of the world, you're probably saying, Zav, can't keep my eyes open. You're boring me to tears. Well, one more thing, just one more. You want to see my my slate, lava rock and slate Japanese maple, and see how that's doing. Now, the last time you saw this, there's the bears and the chap under there with his scroll and his bridge. The last time you saw this was when it featured at my daughter Tammy's wedding. And just to give you a bit of time context, date context, we're Friday the I don't know, 9th or something of August, 8th or 9th of August. And my son is marrying Miriam in 2 or 3 days' time, next Monday. So I'll be losing number 2. But anyway, they don't want any bonsai for that one. So I am very happy that this construction has come together. It's still together. The moss is looking a little brown, but I just need to clean it up and probably just cut it back a wee bit, because I don't want it to overgrow. In the end, this is a maple planting and we need to make sure that they can still be seen. So let's just continue to cut this and prune this back. In fact, I'll finish pruning this and come back and we'll just have a little look at some of these shoots which have probably got a little bit long. Okay, well, it's nicely cleaned up, looking a lot neater in there. Clean the cobwebs off and everything. You know, the actual mass, all the trees are alive, very, very healthy. As I say, I haven't really pruned it, and to be fair, because I think it's the first year planting, not a lot of energy's gone into shoot production, so to speak, and I wouldn't necessarily expect it to. Got a couple over here, and probably best seen in here, would have gone beyond the profile, so I'm just going to clip those back. Now, I'm not doing this pruning with the view that I'm going to get new shoots and that they're going to harden off and more ramification. You know, we're into August now. In my experience, you start getting in the old hit and miss. It may be they'll produce new buds and those shoots will harden off before the autumn, but at the moment it's more about aesthetics. So I'm just going to take some of these back just to keep this looking nice. The main pruning will happen now for this in the autumn time. Just make sure that we haven't got any bugs or anything hiding in there, which is the risk. This has got a lot of foliage on it. This is definitely a time where you're going to get the aphids all over it, and actually a little bit of sunburn here. I'm looking at this part, I would suggest that's probably not going to make it. So, you know, if I look in here, this branch here is not looking so great. That's probably not going to make it through to next year. Bit crisped off, but they've still all got that nice red look about them. I'm not going to do anything more with that. I'm enjoying how it's looking. And again, if you want to see how I constructed and put the lava rock together and everything, there are a couple of good videos about the creation of this, and not many of you have watched it, and I don't know why, because it's the first time I've done gluing lava rocks, and I think that's come out pretty good. So that's me about done for now. If you've liked this, obviously please big thumbs up. If you think anyone else will like it, you know, obviously I'm going to be asking you to share this on your social media, or indeed subscribe. Do you know that out of all my subscribers, and do you know what, I may even have 5,000 by now, in which case thank you everybody for all the support you've given me. I really do appreciate it. But did you realise out of all the views I get, only 30% are actually subscribed? So there's a whole load of people out there who subscribe and then go and do something more interesting, which probably makes a lot of sense actually. But anyway, if you subscribe, please, thank you very much. It's helping me no end. All I'm going to do while you're all going off to work is just check the wire on my Chinese elm here. Just make sure that it's not biting in, and probably just prune this back just a little bit to profile. Quite nice though. We're definitely getting an apical region forming on this. Really do like it. Anyway, I'm sure you're going to see this a lot more in the future, and all I'll say is thanks very much for watching. As I always say right now, times can be tough. It's a very, very uncertain world, and certainly when I'm watching things, I get a little bit nervous a little bit about what's going on out there. Control what you can control, worry about what you can control. Anything that's outside your control, don't worry. Life's too short to keep yourself up at night worrying about things that you can't influence. Anyway, from Xavier, happy bonsai and God bless. Cheers.
Wow, that was a great breakfast.